one of the most advanced ancient civilizations in recorded history was the one that thrived in ancient India. The legacy of that civilization is that many scientific ideas, inventions and technology of ancient India are still being used by the whole world today. Today we are exploring top 4 bizarre predictions from ancient Indian texts. Our first bizarre prediction for the future of humanity is related to time dilation. The legend of Revati found in the Vishnu Purana text provides the basis of time dilation. According to this story, Revati is the daughter of King Kakudmi, a descendant of the sun god Surya. Believing that no human is worthy enough to marry his daughter, Kakudmi takes Revati to seek counsel with the god Brahma, the creator. When they arrive at Brahma's abode, they wait a short time while the god watches a musical performance. Then when they explained the situation to him and requests that a suitable partner be found for his daughter while presenting a short list of candidates, Brahma laughs. He explains that time isn't the same across different levels of existence. So within the short time that Kakudmi and Revati had awaited his counsel, 108 yugas, that's more than 100 million years, had passed on earth, which means that every suitor on Kakudmi's shortlist will have died long ago, as well as all of his in Revati's friends, family, and everyone they have ever known. The central concept of this story is literally millennia ahead of its time. Time dilation is a relatively modern school of scientific thought. But the ancient scholars appeared to have predicted its nature within this story. Now we see it as a basis for scientific experiments and science fiction movies featuring characters who age differently from everyone else because of the physical journeys they take through space and reality. Our second prediction toward modern day is spaceflight and propulsion technology. The ancient Vimanas were machines piloted by the ancient beings. They came in all shapes and sizes and were multi-use, made for land and sea, as well as for space travel. References to them have been found in many ancient texts, including the Hindu epic Mahabharata, and another more contemporary text is the Vaimanika Shastra. One particular passage in the Mahabharata, for example, provides a description of the Vimana that's reminiscent of jet propulsion, referring to them radiating light and carrying a deep rumbling sound. The Vaimanika Shastra also includes similar references indicating, for instance, that the propulsion technology was enabled by the use of rotating gyroscopes and electricity and mercury in what's essentially a vortex engine. Importantly, the Vaimanika Shastra was penned less than 100 years ago. So, we can by no means be considered an ancient text. In 1974, a study carried out by the Indian Institute of Science found that the crafts detailed within it was unfeasible and were much more closer to fictional steampunk flying machines than real life. Nevertheless, this hasn't stopped theorists from listing it as the last in a long line of works that seemingly preempt the engine systems and machines developed by the likes of NASA ever since the 1950s. But finally, Hindu scriptures touch on many more cosmological concepts to not just space travel. Our third bizarre prediction for the future is World War III. The Kali Yuga story concludes with the eventual arrival of a god figure known as Kalki. This should happen around the year 4,28,899. But some say it could happen before then. It's said that Kalki, the 10th and last incarnation of the god Vishnu, will one day bring the cycle of Kali to an end and refresh the seasons and move us back to the first Yuga known as the Satya Yuga, which should be a golden age. While the great Kalki's arrival does have the upside of bringing this nightmarish time to an end, it's also said that it will happen only following a great war, A war vast and devastating enough that it will leave the world in total ruin. And today most onlookers agree that World War III will do exactly that. Our fourth bizarre prediction for the future of humanity is related to the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga, in Hinduism, is the fourth and worst of the four yugas in a yuga cycle. Time is cyclical, and each cycle lasts 4,320,000 years. It is comprised of four great yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. According to various ancient texts, we are now in the Kali Yuga. It is said to have begun in the year 3102 BC, at the climax of an epic war, the Kurukshetra War. So while we are already some 5,000 years through this final season, there are still 426,000 years left for it to run. The Kali Yuga is an age of unrelenting darkness, misery, and vice. With each yuga, humanity's moral and physical well-being deteriorates. Which means that the Kali Yuga is the summit of our deterioration, the pinnacle of all of our problems. And unfortunately, it's been invariably highlighted how we can seemingly see signs of the Kali Yuga all around us today. In this most unfortunate of seasons, humanity's spiritual purpose is said to have diminished. Wealth becomes the key metric, but it's often guided by deceit and corruption. Law and order are then guided by wealth, while the collection of taxes hangs heavy over a busy, bustling society. These conditions are then worsened by things like war, conflict, famine, drought, harsh weather, and disease, leading to more and more suffering as part of the Kali Yuga. It's the most corrupt who rise to political power, and they use that power to control everyone else. For those more inclined with a cynical worldview, then the most bizarre aspect to these predictions might only be how close to real life they appear to fall, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.